Audiobook presents Ashes to Ashes by Thomas Maltman, narrated by Michael Crouch. A quote from Inversnade by Gerald Manley Hopkins. What would the world be, once bereft of wet and of wildness? Let them be left, oh, let them be left, wildness and wet. Long live the weeds and the wilderness yet. From Mark, chapter 1, verses 12 to 13. Immediately the Spirit impelled him to go out into the wilderness. And he was in the wilderness 40 days being tempted by Satan. And he was with the wild beasts, and the angels were ministering to him. 8 Goths and 22 Norwegians on an exploration journey from Vinland to the west. We had camp by 2 skerries 1 day's journey north from this stone. We were to fish one day. After we came home, found 10 men red of blood and dead. AVM, Ave Virgo Maria, on the side of the stone. We have 10 men by the sea to look after our ships. 14 days' travel from this island, year 1362. From a runestone found on Olaf Oman's farm in 1898 in the grip of a poplar tree's roots. The Kensington stone is held today by the Runestone Museum in Alexandria, Minnesota. Book 1, Ashes to Ashes. Chapter 1. The town of Andwen sits on windswept prairies west of Alexandria. Away from town proper, gullies lead to hidden ravines carved by springs that bubble up from below. Here and there, fists of limestone spike through the topsoil, and hummocks round as burial mounds nurture a remnant of ancient prairie no plow has ever touched. When the wind sways the tall grass, you can almost hear the ghosts of bison herds on the move, and further back in time, the lumbering of mastodon. They say that Andwen is a place where nothing ever happens, but something always seems on the verge of happening. It's happening now, in a church of all places, in the deepest part of winter, the dust of the dead reaching out through time to touch the living. As night falls, Emmanuel Lutheran blazes like a beacon on the prairie. Within, the congregation rises to sing the old rugged cross while moonlight rinses through the stained glass to paint the sanctuary in somber colors. After a reading from Psalm 51, they listen as Pastor Breen tells them about David's great sin, his lust for Bathsheba, which drove him to murder Uriah. For his sins, David is called to repent by the prophet Nathan. Pastor Breen tells them that the same voice calls them here and now. This is their hour of atonement. And when the congregation rises from their pews and shuffles toward the altar to take communion, the wafer like the thinnest slice of moonlight, the sweet wine that lingers at the back of the throat, it feels like Pastor Breen holds fire in his hands as he marks the cross on them with ashes. Later they will speak of it, the jolt as from static electricity, how they felt a faint burning impression when the mark seared into their skin. From dust thou art, the pastor says, to dust thou shalt return. Outside, the wind presses against the stained glass and the figures in the windows shimmer and shift, alive in the half-light. The congregation sits once more, studying the marks on each other's foreheads, Cyrillic ciphers as individual as their own thumbprints. Snow spindrifts in the night beyond as soft blue shadows stretch in the sanctuary. Where have the wind and snow come from? The night was clear on the way here, the fields barren. It's as if the snow comes from the moon itself, these feathery flakes like goose down shaken from a pillow. The school nurse works the great pipe organ, a lovely lost hymn that no one in the congregation knows. It's not found in the Lutheran Green Book of Worship, and she won't be able to explain it later, except to say she felt guided by the Spirit. They imagine rising to the very rafters of the church, the roof lifting as easy as a man taking off his cap, borne aloft. The youngest among them discover it first. Soon after the service ends, the pastor's daughter, Morgan Breen, emerges from the women's restroom and is joined by 2 teenage boys in the narthex. The cross on her forehead remains fresh and bright as a brand. "Is it there?" she says to the boys. "Or am I still stoned? It won't wash off." "No, it's there."
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.